This was my previous LEGO space, and I had a lot of issues with it. The main thing being the limited space. There was very little building space on this table, and it wasn't really that comfortable to build at all because of the drawers it had underneath it. I also had very little room for any expansion, as there was no room for more drawers or really anything else. In fact, I had storage elements that just had to move around because they didn't have an exact home. I also had this overhead storage that wasn't very practical. I also hit my head on it a few times. This video is going to be the main introduction into my LEGO hobby on this channel, and we're starting that off with the process of creating this LEGO space that would really get me started. First, a little bit of background. I have been into LEGO for a long time. I'd always had a collection that would be very slowly sorted over time. I would end up finishing this in 2022 when I decided to get back into the hobby a bit after being introduced into Monkey Kid, which turned into general brain rot for me and still is to this day. Now, moving to October 2023. I just got COVID for the first time after the best concert of my life. So yeah, the post-concert low was hitting pretty hard there, and had the thought of revamping my LEGO area. I had been bothered by it for a while after I initially set it up, so I created a list of some of the things I wanted. I wanted a comfortable standing desk workspace with easy access to most of my parts, or at least the parts I would be using often. I had a couple storage solutions I wanted to build shelves or cases for, including these old IKEA organizers and these new Umamo organizers that I've come to like recently. I also had this rolling trolley that fit the IKEA organizers almost perfectly, so I wanted a spot for that to roll under the table. I also wanted to have an extra fold-out table for building on or for displaying, and I wanted to have shelving for storing builds. I knew the current space would not fit for this idea, but looking right next to it, I had this corner that we never really had a good use for. I've done a couple things in this spot, including a couple domino projects, but the space didn't have any good use yet. And after doing some measurements, I thought this spot would be a great new LEGO space. I came up with some initial ideas and put the project to the side because of classes as it was ramping up. Fast forward those couple months and we're now in the holidays, and my goal was to complete this build during the 3-week period I had off. As me and my dad were collaborating on this project, we started by creating a basic design in Tinkercad and then later Fusion that would help us be able to lay out the space and determine the final design. We ended up adding an extra wall or separator, whatever you want to call it, that would go next to the space to add some extra space for storage to loop around me. After this, we started by removing everything from the old space and preparing the area for the new space. We then went and bought all the materials, which was like 100% wood, and started measuring out the parts in the area to start building. The first supports would go up first, along with the added wall. One fun thing about this type of build is that because houses aren't perfect, walls aren't perfect, and that definitely caused us some problems. We ended up having to recut some things and add notches in order to fit everything. And we also had to add a shim so the wall would sit perfectly. We still haven't done a real fix for that yet. Anyway, we continued building the desk, which, looking at it, we should have designed to be stronger. The plywood and the 1.5-inch support beams weren't enough, especially on the sides, and it's very obvious that the table leans in with the weight of the parts and organizers as they are very much leaning over. But, you know, we don't talk about that. After that, we installed the upper shelf and then installed the light over my workspace. The final thing to build was the rolling out storage unit that would be able to convert into a table. This unit has shelves to hold custom 3D printed storage containers for bigger bricks. These would all be accessible underneath the table. Then if I needed extra table space, I could roll it out and fold it out into a table. And this worked out really well. Now that everything was built, I could start to add all my organizers back and turn it into the final LEGO space. Now, things have evolved a little bit over the past few months since we finished building it, and will probably continue to evolve as I get more parts. But it is so much better coming down here to use this space now, and it's been such an improvement. The next thing we need to do is paint everything, which we'll see if that ends up happening, because I really want to get into building more once I get some new parts. Thanks everyone for watching. I hope this was interesting at least, and I'm excited to do more LEGO stuff in the future here.